So in this video I want to talk about the order of operations, and that is often taught in schools as BIDMAS or BODMAS or PEMDAS or BEDMAS. Okay, they're probably the most popular of the ways of doing it. Now I am not in this video going to slate using BIDMAS or BODMAS or PEMDAS or BEDMAS because essentially I still teach with it, and I still think that it's a useful way of remembering the order of operations. However, there are some maths teachers that want to completely bin it and get rid of it and think it's really awful, mainly because students misinterpret it, and they misinterpret it or are taught it incorrectly, and hence go on to make mistakes, and that obviously isn't helpful. So in this video I want to address that and just talk you through what these are, because it's likely that you've probably been taught one of these and you're going, what the hell are the other ones? So let's talk through it. So especially for people who are coming back to GCSE maths who haven't done it for a long time. So BIDMAS. Each of the letters represents essentially an operation. So BIDMAS, like that. So B for brackets. I for indices. Okay, so brackets, if you see a bracket, you've got to do that first. Indices, you've got to the power, so squared, cubed, to the power 5, anything like that. Square rooting as well would be in there. D is for division. M, multiplication. A is for addition. And S is for subtraction. Okay, now essentially it's telling you the order in which you should go. So if you see brackets, you've got to deal with those first. If there are no brackets, then you deal with indices next. If there are no indices, you're going to deal with division next, and then multiplication, and then addition, then subtraction. Okay, now what I've described there is the wrong way of how you interpret it. Okay, so keep that in mind, right? So what I've said there isn't quite right, and I've said it on purpose, because that is the most common error and why some maths teachers hate it. And I'll get around to explaining it in a moment. BODMAS is actually the one that I was originally taught, and the O here stands for other. So that means indices, or could be, as I said, square roots. Okay, so BODMAS, brackets, other, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. PEMDAS is, you know, if you're from the UK, it's unlikely that you've heard that one before. P stands for parentheses. Parentheses. Okay? So, parentheses is, from our point of view, is a posh way of saying brackets. Okay, these two things mean the same. Then the E is for exponents. So again, that is another way of writing indices. Then you've got M for multiplication, then D for division, then A for addition, and then S for subtraction. So we've got brackets, parentheses, indices, exponents. Oh, but wait. Division, division. Multiplication, multiplication. The order's changed. Why is that the case? Addition and subtraction around the same way. Now, why would that be the case? Well, that's because division and multiplication are on the same pedestal. They have the same importance. So when you come to division and multiplication, if you've got just divisions and multiplications, Generally we just say work from left to right. Okay? And the same with addition and subtraction. They are on the same level as well. So this is why students often make mistakes, and this is why some maths teachers absolutely hate BIDMAS, and that's because students interpret this as it comes, like religiously. That it should go brackets, indices, division, then multiplication, then addition, subtraction. That you should always do addition before subtraction, but that's not the case. Okay? That is not the case. So actually, how BIDMAS should be set out should be like this. We should have brackets at the top, then indices, then division and multiplication on the same level, then addition and subtraction on the same level. Okay? Now you might be thinking, oh, what's BEDMAS then? Well, you can kind of guess. Brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So it's just another way of writing it down. So, when you're doing the order of operations, let's say we look at addition and subtraction. Let's say you've got something like 10 take away 3 plus 2. Okay, something quite basic. Now, if you were to follow BIDMAS to the letter and go, right, I've got to do addition before subtraction, then that would mean I've got to do 3 plus 2 first. This is the most common misconception. I would do 3 plus 2 is 5, and then do the subtraction, so I'd have 10 take away 5, which is 5. Okay? But that's not the correct answer. When you've got addition and subtractions, you should always start from the left and work your way to the right. So you're going to do 10 take away 3 first, which is 7. Then add the 2 is 9. So the correct result here is 9. If it was to be 5, you would need brackets around the 3 and the 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. The BIDMAS would tell me to do what's in the brackets first. 3 plus 2 is 5, 10 take away 5 is 5. So I would have to put brackets in order to get that result. So this is why there are misconceptions with BIDMAS, and why some maths teachers absolutely hate it, because it leads to these problems. However, it's always been useful in identifying that division and multiplication should be dealt with before addition and subtraction, and that brackets should be dealt with first. So it does have its benefits. I completely understand people who dislike it and the reasons behind it. But I think introducing it with BIDMAS and PEMDAS alongside each other, you can see that just through the case of we would prefer to write it as PEMDAS rather than BEDMAS, right? Because someone made that decision, we can compare the two and go, oh, well, division and multiplication can be switched, okay? And you could have PEMDAS if you wanted to, and mix and bring the subtraction addition the other way around, okay? So that's really the issue that people have. So as I said, you'll learn really one of these likely at your school, but I'm going to be working through what you need to deal with when you've got just addition subtraction. So I'll reiterate what we went through a moment ago. What happens when we've got division and multiplication, what happens when we introduce indices, what happens when we introduce brackets, and how we deal with those problems, and going through lots of examples so you can see how it works and build up your confidence throughout.